Alright, so I am back, and today we're going to look at the Transart, what are they called? Metal T-Rex, their version of the Transmetal Beast Wars Megatron. Yeah, there we go. Let's see here. He comes with a number of things. He does come with the gloves, so you don't have to, if you don't want to touch him. But I don't think my hands will my hands fit in these? Kind of. Not very well. They're definitely not designed for larger hands, or should I say thicker hands, because I've got some thick fingers. It comes with this. These are, I think, instructions, so if you guys want to look them up on how to do whatever, you know, there's your little product codes. Hopefully that helps you. If you looked at the original one, you don't necessarily need them too much. There's only a few more little twists and turns on this thing. He comes with some extra faces, which we'll look at more in detail, and some other accessories for robot mode. He also comes with the extra tail for robot mode, which is a pretty clever way to do it, but we'll get to that when we get there. And then, of course, he comes with the collector card, which I don't collect. I mean, does anybody collect these anymore? I mean, are these still a thing? Alright, so let's take a look at the figure. He's a big figure, so he's going to be out of screen a lot of the time. There's no real way around it. He's got some great purple chrome going on, and then this gold metallic paint. He does have, from what I'm seeing now, like when I first got it, I was like, man, this is a bummer. But from what I'm seeing now, it's actually seeming like it's common that these die-cast feet, the paint's chipping on them. So that's a bummer. They probably should have rethought that. But I mean, other than that, he looks pretty good. I have a problem keeping these pieces lined up properly, just because of the way things fold together. But you know, it is what it is. Looks pretty good. I won't lie, it looks good. He does have light up eyes. I can't seem to figure out how to get these ones to work. I've watched a lot of videos, and I can't seem to figure it out, unless they're coming on and I'm just not seeing them. Yeah, I can't get those to work at all. So, alright, posability in T-Rex mode. His head is on a swivel. It also hinges left and right. Hinges a little up, decent bit down, and then the mouth does open and the tongue does slide down as well. So pretty good range of motion. So if you wanted to get him like more standing up, you can, because I know he's done that a few times in the show. Or if you want to keep him down like this, you can do that. The little front arms are on, essentially they're universals. It has a swivel at the base here, and then a hinge that comes out, and then there's another swivel on a mushroom peg just below that. This is on a hinge here, and then each finger is on a ball joint. So there's that. Nothing really in the body. Tail, I believe, yeah. Ball peg, so you get a range of motion there. Ball peg here, right? Yeah. It's kind of angled weird, so this one doesn't move too much. It does swivel, but it doesn't seem to move. And then ball peg, ball peg, ball peg. So pretty good range of motion. And then this does open and close. Obviously it closes. You know, if it opens, it usually does that. The legs, kind of softer ratchets up and down. They seem to do the job mostly well, but they're not the most stable. Thigh swivel, ratcheted knee, and then the foot tilts down, up, and there is a rocker. We'll get to those in a second. And that is his Dino mode in a nutshell. Works pretty well, looks decent, and not my favorite mode of him, and just because like this doesn't quite sit right, and it just it is nicely balanced though, I will say that. I mean, he is having no difficulty standing. That was one of my concerns, because I know the MP one had a hard time standing to the point where they had to include the display base. Alright, now let's do his flight mode. So for the flight mode, what you do is you just pull these out. They just untab from the sides. Just like this. And then the wheels, the feet should go up, and then the wheels come down. I have a lot of problems with this here. I have so many problems with it. Like, I don't actually have a physical problem. Well, I kind of do, but we'll get into my thoughts on it, here in a bit. But you can essentially do this, and there you go. He's very unstable because it's a very small little thing to try and get him on, those little wheels. But it does work, as you can see. And that's about it. That's really all there is to his Dino mode and flight mode. His flight mode's just, I mean, a lot of the Transmetals, their alternate modes are just a joke. But yeah, I mean, there's no shame in, I'd say, if you wanted to keep him in Dino mode, he looks pretty good. So, let's get him transformed, though. So, first thing we want to do is pull the tail off. And it just... should just come off, right? And that's really on there, and it didn't seem like it was going to go on there very tightly. There we go. So there's just like little springs on the inside here. And it's like the other one. I wish that there was a way that you could just push this and the springs would kind of come out. We'll get into that here in a bit, but and then from what I understand, you can take the faces and peg them into the tail if you want for storage, just like that. And then the extra little dino claws can go in there as well, so in case you don't want to lose things. Again, it goes into the... This was probably not really designed for somebody with thick fingers like mine. Alright. So now that we got that out, we're pretty much done with it. We'll just set that off to the side. Alright, so then we can take these pieces here. Not those, the whole thing. There we go. Just flip these out. Flip this out. I don't know why that moves. That doesn't make much sense, but okay. So get those out of the way. And then we could straighten up the robot. And rotate fold these all out to the side. You want to rotate the waist around. This will come to this side, and then this goes to the back. So it's like that. Let me just try and rotate this camera up a bit. Alright. Take the Dino arms here, fold these up, and then we can these untab. Just pull these out and down. Just get those out of the way. And we can untab this. Come on. There we go. Those can come up out of the way. Take the arms here. Fold these out. And then you take the head here, and this will fold down. And then as you're folding it down, you want to collapse this black piece into the purple piece. So just collapse up like that. And then rotate the head in, just like that. Then this back piece here will fold down. You can then take these wings here, and this will fold in, and then this will fold up. And just kind of sits on the back here. I wish they actually had a place to tab in. That would have been pretty spectacular, to be honest. And would help with another issue I have with it. Look, his eyes are on. I didn't turn those on. I hate this thing. It's like there's things I like about this thing, but there's things I don't like. There we go. Alright, and then we can take this assembly here, and this comes up, and this will just tab into place. This gold piece here tabs into this little piece here. So you just line those up and lock it in. And there is Megatron in his robot mode. And he's a little on the back heavy side. But I mean, he does have quite a bit hanging off the back there. Alright. Rotate the camera back down. Like I said, he's just too big to really be in frame at all times. Okay, so now we have him in his robot mode. You saw one of the problems I was having is the light up feature. You know, it's a decent feature, but it has problems. I have a really hard time getting this thing to actually work with it. You know, I sit there and smack the head a bunch of times and hold it up, and just like it sometimes will work, sometimes it won't. If you have a stronger magnet, it'll work. There we go. But it's like, it seems to work best if you tap it over here, but the way, you know, it's supposed to work is by touching the top of the head. So you have that problem right off the bat. But yeah, let's talk about posability, and then we'll look at accessories, I guess. So head is on a ball peg, so you get the left, right. It's barely in frame, isn't it? So you get the left and right, a little up, a little down, a little, pretty good side to side. So that all works. shoulders are on swivels, and they ratchet out to the side. These side panels here don't, they tab in decently, but every now and then they'll come undone when you're manipulating the figure. So that's kind of sucks, because it's like it needed to lock in a little bit tighter. Thigh swivel or bicep swivel. He has a bend at the elbow, which gets you pretty much as you need. But there's actually a secondary bend there as well, so you can actually go further. So you can get the full range of posability out of the elbow if you wanted. Wrist swivels. No issues there. The fingers, so you've got the bottom three have hinge and hinge, so that all works decently. And then the top one has a hinge and hinge as well. The thumb has a hinge, and a ball joint, so you get a pretty good range of motion on the thumb, although, you know, it all looks awkward. It just doesn't seem to sit like naturally. It's just yeah, it's just not very well done hands. And this hand on mine, the paint is so thick that the fingers have a really hard time moving. I don't know how well you can see that, but little bits of paint and plastic were coming off there. So that sucks as well. He does have an ab crunch, but he doesn't... Well, I guess if you move this in junction with it, it holds pretty well. But otherwise, he's too heavy for it. But you just, if you move this little bar here, it seems to help. Waist swivel. That all works well. Legs on softer ratchets. They hold pretty well, I will say. But, you know, it's just like, it doesn't feel like it would. Ratcheted thighs, ratcheted knee, foot still has the same, you know, rocker, tilt, all that good stuff. Alright. He does come with two alternate faces. I hope you guys saw the feet thing, because I had to sit so close on awkwardly, I couldn't tell if it was in the camera. But we've already looked at the feet, so... He does come with comes with two alternate faces. So just pull the head off here. And then the face will come out like this. And so you got the grimace face. There is just the stoic face. And we have a like kind of grinny face. And then you just plug this back on like that. And then you just plug this back on. His light up feature has two different settings. Well, three if you count the off. So this is off. So he's got the dead hollow eyes, which sucks. And then you get the light up eyes. That looks good. I like that. But, you know, how long is that battery going to last? How long can he sit on the shelf with his light up eyes on? And then he's got a blinking eyes, which I don't understand. And then those are his light up features. He also comes with the alternate fingers for the Dino mode. So you just unpeg the ball pegs there, and then you pop in the new ones. So these are like from that one episode where he did that one thing where he was able to shoot somebody with his dino claws. That's probably actually how I'm going to just leave him, just with those on there. So that, again, you just take these off and put these on. Really ain't nothing to it. Alright, now he's got the tail. So this has, let's see here, this is all one piece. This rotates on a ball peg, ball peg, ball peg, ball peg, and a ball peg. This does open and close, and then if you want to take this off, you can put this little reader on there. And then this is the little shard of the golden disc. I wish he would have came with like a full one too. I don't know if this is removable or not. It doesn't seem like it is. But I think that would have been a better way to do it, is to come with both. But, you know, whatever. And there's that back on. And then just to show you this, because it won't really work very well when he's in robot mode, you take this and this will just plug in there, and it doesn't plug in very well, and there's his little blast effect. It's stupid, you know, who cares? It doesn't work very well. And then there's this. So you got to fold his hand up a good bit, best you can, really. And then you take this, and then you can fold this up like this. And then you can take this, and there's a groove here and a groove on this side. And the idea is you want to get these pieces to lock into those grooves. The problem is that in order to move these pieces, you have to grab these little knobs and pull those in. And the problem there, oh, I guess it does lock a little bit, so you can kind of, but that won't work either. The problem is like, again, I have big fingers, so this is really small, delicate work, and I don't think there's a way for me to do this on camera. It just, and I'm afraid I'm just gonna scrape the crap out of this thing. Come on. They really made this like as unuser friendly as they can, I think. Okay, I think I got it. Alright, and then once that's on there, looks pretty good, and for the most part it holds its weight pretty well. I don't have much issue there. Alright, so let's set them back. Let's do some size comparisons, and then I'll tell you all my thoughts on this thing. Here he is with the MP44 mold. So he's quite a bit bigger than him, which is nice. You know, have a nice, big, beefy Megatron. Here he is with the Beast Wars Megatron. Or the MP version. And I like that. It definitely looks like they're cut from the same cloth there. scale-wise anyway. This one just looks so much better because of the way they painted it. And here he is with the Transart Ravage. And I'd say that scale is just about right. I think Ravage should have been a little bit bigger, but since they're retooling, they just retooled the Cheetor mold. There's not too much they can do about it, because I remember there's that episode where he's letting Megatron out of the cell, and he's looking straight up at him. And Megatron comes up and he looks straight down at him. And I'd say that's almost right. Yeah, I think he should have been about right here, though. Just a little bit taller. But again, I can't fault them for Megatron being too big, because I think the Megatron's the right size. I think the Ravage should have been a tad bigger. Anyway. And here he is with their Optimus Primal. And that looks pretty good together. I think that is just about right. And then, because he's here, here he is with their Optimal Optimus, which is horribly in the wrong scale. It is just horribly wrong. I mean, Optimal Optimus should be towering over the Megatron. Plain and simple. Alright. So, what do I think of this Megatron? I like him. You know, don't get me wrong. I do like him. I have a lot of issues with this figure. Both in some QC issues and some design issues. Just the way they put him together. So to start off, let's start head down. We'll top to bottom. Okay, my first issue is the light up eyes. You know, after their Ravage figure, who has these amazing red eyes that seem to glow, just because they catch, you know, the way they are painted and they catch the light just right. They're amazing. It is one of the most standout features of any figure I purchased last year, was just his red eyes are just amazing looking. And then you get to this guy, and his eyes are dead because they do this stupid light up feature. You know, the light up feature looks cool when you have it on. When you don't have it on, it looks like garbage. It looks like total, absolute garbage. There's no reason why we're doing just light up eyes. I hate light up eyes because of that. You know, it's like this thing is just dead inside because of that. And here's a solution. You know, you make these little red pieces here removable, and then you include painted eyes that you can just swap out. That's it. That's all you got to do. It would have been a real easy, simple fix. Because then you'd have the choice of either doing light up eyes or doing the painted eyes. And I would have gone painted eyes for my shelf. Because I'm not going to leave that battery on while he's sitting on my shelf. I'm not. It's just not going to happen. And not to mention, it's not going to last very long. It'll die out pretty quickly, and then he'll just be dead. Because I ain't gonna go to the store and buy new batteries just so that he can sit on the shelf and do nothing. It's a really poor design choice, and they really should have rethought that before they put it out. You know, I don't really necessarily need my figures to have electronics of any sort. I would prefer to just have straight up this or straight up that. You know, just give me painted eyes and I would have been happy. Next thing, I really wish like there was a way that these gold panels here were to lock in a little bit tighter, like actually lock in. As it is, they just kind of sit there, which, I mean, it's fine, it doesn't hurt it, but every now and then these panels here will come untabbed, and then that is obnoxious. So it's like if they would have done a way to lock these in and then lock these panels into the gold panels, then it would all just kind of hold itself together. So that's also a problem. Next problem, the hands. I think they don't look very good. I think, and the bizarre thing is like they did it so well with the Ravage, where they did the removable, interchangeable hands. So I don't know why they didn't do it here. You know, this would have been a figure that would have benefited from that immensely. You know, you could have had, you know, just relaxed hands, fist hands, and then like a gripping hand or something. And then to make it even better, you could have had one hand holding the rubber ducky, and then one hand, you know, like just detach the hand, and then you could attach the tail where the hand plugs in. Then you don't have to fight with those little tiny pieces trying to get the tail in. You know, it's pretty sturdy now that it's in, but it's just like it would have been easier to just, you know. I think that would have been a better way to do it. And if you're not going to do it, then you should have a bigger release on the sides here. Like if you push, it should be like you push this piece here in, and then that would make those things open up. Same thing with the big tail. You know, that stuck in there pretty well. I mean, it works. It does its job. It's just when you're getting it out, it's like, how do I get this out? There's no release, so you're just pulling until it pops off, and that's, you know, that's not a good thing to do with any toy. You know, just have to pull something until eventually the spring gives loose and it comes out. I think the hips should have been tighter. Like I said, I mean, for the most part they work fine, but it feels like they don't want to. So those should have been better designed. The feet, I think having these die cast, I mean, obviously, you know, it helps give them the weight on the bottom, but the problem is that it's, you know, I've got so much paint chipping here on both feet that it looks awful. But then, you know, it follows suit in the MP36 problem of having metal feet. So if you have a display shelf that is smooth, or glass, for example, like mine, this thing's going to slide all over the place. And it doesn't help that it has a die-cast wheel on the back. That's all just really poor planning on their side. You know, I think they, you know, putting a little bit of rubber padding on the bottom of the feet would have gone a long way. Just to give him more stability. And I know I'm being critical because of my shelf, but I know there's a lot of people out there that have glass or some sort of polished shelf, like be it wood, be it plastic, plexiglass, glass. You know, there's a lot of people out there. Not everybody has like, you know, you look at Skullface's displays, for example. You know, he's got the dioramas where it's not glass, it's you know, painted material and stuff like that. You know, I think, you know, not everyone has those. So it's like on my review shelf, this is, you know, just cardstock essentially, and he's still sliding a little bit, but on my glass shelves, he's going to be all over the place. And then let's talk about these. So the wheels here, I've seen a lot of people complain that they're breaking. And the reason why they're breaking is you got this plastic piece here, and then this is die cast and this is die cast. I don't know if this is die cast. I don't think so. But it's on the super tight spring, and this little piece of plastic is where it's breaking off, right in there. I don't know how well that's coming off in the camera, but it's this little plastic piece that's right below the spring. It's been snapping off because it's a very, very small joint and a very, very tight spring. The problem, I mean, there's so many problems with this. First off, the way they designed it is really bad for longevity, but also the fact that the way it sits is like you want to grab this wheel and use that as leverage, but you shouldn't. It's the thing that's out, and that's the thing you want to grab. But then also it's the heel spur. Like, who thought of that? Like, I'm going to make the heel spur a wheel on a spring that's supposed to support the figure. That is just poor designing all around. I know that that's just how the figure looked originally. But you know what? The original one, they just did one solid piece of plastic and the wheels didn't rotate. I don't think any of us would have really complained too much if our wheels on this $170 figure didn't rotate to increase stability in robot mode. I don't think any of us would have cared. So it's a really, really bad design choice. There's a number of bad design choices on this figure, and that easily takes the cake. So, all that being said, do I recommend this figure? I have to say no, I don't. I like this figure. I'm happy I bought it. He's happily going to be on my shelf, and I've been wanting a MP style Transmetal Megatron for years. This is one of my top picks, and I'm happy to finally have it. And it's one of those ones I don't think I would swap out unless they did a version 2, which had if it did everything that I just said, then I'd probably swap it out for like a version 2. New eyes, new tail, new hands, new feet, new wheels. Chances of that happening are very slim, but I'm happy with the purchase. I don't think it's good for your standard collector. It's definitely a put it on the shelf and don't manipulate it too much kind of figure, and just pray for the best whenever you are. I don't know what else to say. I think it feels like they've stepped back, from their first release, or their first like they did the Transmutate, and then they did the Primal. And I thought the Primal was fantastic. The hands are a little goofy, but overall the Primal's great. Then they did the Cheetor, and the Cheetor was pretty good. And then they did the Ravage, and the Ravage was fantastic. He was one of, if not my figure of the year last year. I can't remember. And he looks so good. And he hits every mark that I wanted him to hit, like, the removable hands, the glossy eyes, and then they did this thing, which doesn't fit with anything, and it's just like, so they did that, and then it's like they stepped back. The plastic doesn't feel as good as the other two, like these guys or the Cheetor. It just, I don't know, guys. I feel like they went back a couple steps. Like they almost had a really good figure, and then they're like, man, we've been milking this too long. We got to get it out. Like the last minute rush. And I think they should have skipped this thing altogether and put all the money and research from that thing into this and made a really solid figure. And they could have charged up to $300, if they made it a really knockout figure. But I don't know. For a score, I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. If he didn't look as good as he does, it would be a lower score. And if he had at least painted eyes, he would have had a higher score. But I can't recommend him. I was really hoping that he'd be my figure of the year. I was so excited to get him out of the box, and then I was like, first thing I thought of when I pulled him out of the box was like, oh, this is it? So yeah, that's all I got. What do you guys think?